All right, we are out running 6 miles. A little bit of steam, I don't know if y'all can see that. First run when it's actually cold. Sorry for the bouncy cam, I'll try to keep it a little bit level, but when it's low light, I can't film with motion stabilization. It takes more light and then it uses all that extra image that it can capture to balance itself against itself. Allow myself to introduce myself. It's from Possum. We'll be back. See how this one goes. So just a reminder, the point of this channel is I show how I train at an Ironman level so that you can do all kinds of ultra distance stuff of any kind, gravel biking, ultramarathons. So once you train at an Ironman level, you can kind of just switch up your training just a little bit as you get close to your event. Oh. That was probably a possum. Okay. Wow, that was wild. All I saw was the color of the light reflecting of his eyes. So he's on a retractable leash. Let's talk about that. So that he can get 15 feet. So he really feels like he's running free. But I can pull him in and also lock it. And I use the cable one, not the ribbon one. Even though the ribbon one can kind of cut you or maybe take off a finger, after a while you figure out how to use it. And because then it's way more compact. And what's different today is no fuel. I've worked myself down to only 100 calories. And I did have a little bit of cereal, granola and raisin, and low-fat milk, 2%. And 2 cups of coffee. And carrying 100 calories of fuel ends up just being more pain in the ass than it's worth. And it is 64 degrees, which is compared, and a little bit low humidity. Lower. I still wetted him down so he won't complain as much with the garden hose in the front, which he doesn't mind. And I started off with the shirt, but I'm a bigger guy, so I heat up and then I'll just end up sweating all over that shirt. So I stashed the shirt in a tree on the way out here. Actually, like half a mile in, I'm already hot. What do you smell? And I'm carrying 2 of these. These are 10.5 ounces of water. And okay, now you're just lollygagging. And I think that water will definitely last me. It's so hot here, I'm used to carrying all that and using it plus some. So we probably won't have to stop at the water stop partway through that we usually do. All right, we'll be back. All right. Also, what I'm doing differently lately is I'm running with a red blinky light that usually I run around on his collar. I'm running it behind me. So cars coming up on this road can see me from a distance, no, because it's nice for cars to know that there's something up here and they need to start looking out for way ahead of time instead of at the very last second when they happen to see me. And then with the white headlamp on the front, and it's okay that things are bouncy because that helps cars notice. And then, like always, I check the wind direction and kind of pick a route based on the wind direction, which one's going to be the coolest or the warmest, you know, depending on what I need. But also, look at that. Full moon. So I was wondering this morning, like, why can I see so much better with my headlamp on low? I see that creature again. It's right there. I don't think y'all can see it. Wait a second. No. Oh, what was that? Huh. Anyway, the thing that crossed the road earlier, I think was a possum and or an armadillo. What we got to watch out for is skunk. But I probably would have seen that white stripe. All right. Yeah, the red light on my lower back attached to my running belt is nice. And you can extend the battery life by putting it on blinky mode. Extends it by a ton. And I had a car come up behind me on that other road. This is a different road now. And I felt super confident that they saw me and way more relaxed. And what I teach and coach is to do high volume everything, and to be successful at it and get faster, everything needs to be, it's a joke, it's a running joke right now, but zone 2 very rarely harder than that, and that allows you to get in the volume. So everything needs to be anti-stress, and you use this time to think. And what really works for me, because I grew up my youngest years, we're staying on this side, There's a car, so we're gonna cross over to the left side. Is where I live, the local environment is prairie. So we just get these kind of short trees and stuff. But where I grew up was heavily wooded, like northern Birmingham, or northern Alabama, and East Tennessee and stuff. So thick woods. So what's really relaxing to me is trees. The bigger the trees, if you follow my channel, you'll see it. I get really excited when I go through tree tunnels. And we're in Texas. Once you get to Texas, Central Texas and West, you don't get that like you do in a lot of other places. So people take it for granted. And let's see. Got another car coming up behind me. Let's go on the left side. And like I said, I'm running with 2 water bottles. And what I make sure is I don't finish the first one until I'm halfway through. And it's a really nice use of 2. It distributes the weight better. They click and clip to my waist belt. And then I use the fact that it's 2 of them to not run out of water too soon and just sit. And I can tell that he's doing okay and not getting too hot, because, and this is the thing, if you pay attention to your environment, you'll learn what's actually going on in the world. Let's get over here on this side. Like, I can tell you by the wind direction what the surf is down in Galveston, even though it's 2.5 hours away. And nature's giving you signals all the time about what's going on. So the fact that we ran past where we normally get water and he didn't like veer off to the side to go get some means that he's fine, and we're not going to need to stop for water, probably. We're going to go by it again when we're almost done with like 1.5 miles left. So, I'll be right back. Be careful, it could have power in it. Be right back. So lately, I've been running through this office park you see over there. But because of the wind direction change and a little bit cooler temperature, I can actually run this road coming up here more than I was before without overheating. And it's really nice. A cool trick is, if you feel safe, like if you're a guy that you think you could probably defend yourself, you know, the less light, then it's like you turn off all your lights and just run, and people will leave you alone. And if you're worried about your safety, you may want to run. There's a lot more light. Definitely for Emily to run. Anytime we've looked at moving to a neighborhood, I look to see if there's street lights or not, because I don't want her feeling unsafe running in the dark. There's a car coming both directions. Let's go the street here. It's worth it to get off the street for this rare occasion. Okay, let's cross over. And definitely, if you're concerned for your safety, you should vary your route and not run the same route all the time, because a bad guy or girl will spot you one day and then be thinking about how to get you over the next couple days or whatever, and then be waiting for you at the same spot days later. So varying your run route actually isn't the dumbest thing in the world, no matter who you are. You can see from all these like low-hanging trees over the road a little bit. It's just so nice. There's a thing called Japanese forest bathing, and it's very real. For about 2 years, we lived where my run route was just houses and no woods and no trees, like where you were going in between them and could just reach out and touch them. And I got depressed in there, and I didn't know how bad it was until just by coincidence one day I ran my old running route. There's an apartment complex here and people walk their dogs, and so there's going to be lots of sniffing going on. And when I ran my old running route, it was, wow, just the, whatever the chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, probably serotonin, was just unbelievable how good it felt. It's so nice. And I was like, we gotta move. I can't do this. There's gotta be a better way. Like Festivus, as our rain blows down upon his head, I thought, there's got to be a better way. So here we go. We're about to do some real trail running here in a second. Not very long, but got 2 doses of it coming up. Okay, we're here. And yeah, a whole lot of the Zen in the art of triathlon and Zen in the art of endurance is I discovered by this having to keep it mellow. It becomes a practice, and then listening to lectures when podcasts were young and new, some of the best stuff out there was Zen masters, real ones, giving lectures to students, a hall, and teaching you how to be in the moment, relax. It makes you perform so much better when you're training and racing. And then after a while, it transcends that and spills over into your daily life. Okay, we're going back. And also teaches you a lot about time management and what's important. You run out of time because you're doing all this training, so you have to learn what really matters. And because you're so, come on, River. I know something amazing was there. River, come on. He's such a nose-driven dog. It's unbelievable. I've never had a dog like him. I've had 6 or 7 running dogs, all different. The wildest was a full-blooded greyhound. Had her since she was a puppy. She was a racing greyhound that wasn't going to race because she had broken her foot as a puppy. And anytime she ran really hard and really fast, it would start to re-injure her. And so she wasn't race worthy, I guess. But she was the real deal with the, they tattoo the insides of their ears with their ID number. It's almost like having a racing license plate. But those are sight hounds. And this one's driven by his nose. She was driven by her eyes. Anything moved, she was on it. But they don't like to run very far. They just run really fast. So she was good for like up to 2-3 miles. And then I had a Dalmatian mix he was good for 20 miles. No problem. He's somewhere in between. Until the sun's starting to come up a little bit. So with your crunch time and learning what matters and your constant self-improvement, which is a lot like just attending a Zen academy. And there are Zen monks, Buddhist monks, that have to run 20 miles a day when they do a certain ceremony for like a year. So endurance is definitely a thing. And you can look it up on YouTube, the running monks or something. They're in Japan. But you're always, both it's a mix of looking for improvements, but also you don't have to look that hard. You just have to pay attention, and then you notice. And I'm like, I'm gonna try running with no fuel. Hey, guess what? I got an extra couple minutes of run time with him, where he can stop and sniff, or I can take my time and relax and go a little bit slower, slow down. Not the running, but the between. so you can actually think. Because I didn't spend a couple minutes making fuel that I really didn't need. And so at one point I did need it. Not everything, Zen, not everything is black and white, obviously. There's in between. They're both. It's black and white. And it depends. So at one point I needed it. And it's like this with many things in life. And then I didn't need it anymore. But out of habit and out of like a security blanket, like sucking your thumb, I was still carrying it and using it. And then it took that final jump to let go. And it's a classic example, the Zen story of a Zen saying, I guess, of realizing that if you let go, yeah, you're gonna fall. But what if we told you there is no ground? And now you're not gonna get hurt as much or as bad or at all as you think you are. Okay, I need to check my mileage on my watch here. And yeah, I don't know if this ride I did today is gonna add up. In fact, I'm pretty positive it's not gonna add up to 6 miles. But it was worth it. I can always add a little bit extra going that way. But first, we're gonna turn in here. This is great. I'll be right back. All right, we're gonna hit 6 miles, which was my goal. Really nice. And also, here's a shirt I wore to start off on purpose. I chose a green shirt. Ironically, it has trees on it. So when I stuffed it in a tree and some bushes up off the ground, so it didn't get ants or something. We have fire ants here in Texas, really bad. Didn't get ants on it. That, as opposed to like a bright yellow running shirt. Gotta watch out, somebody's gonna get out of his car. He may go, what? Somebody wasn't gonna run by and see it and then take it. So it's got its own kind of camouflage on it. And then my last tip for the run is I could have turned on stability by now. Still see the full moon. It's real pretty. Oh, what mile are we on? 5.96, but who's counting? I'll go ahead and stop here and let it roll over and catch my breath before we go in. But anyway, next to the front door, I have a shelf, several shelves, and I have a charging station set up where I can take off all these things and my bike lights and whatever, or as I walk in the door, bike computers, and put them on that shelf. And then if they need charging, then I can put them on a charger. As I'm leaving for work, as I'm walking past it, I'll be like, because my keys are there too, I'll be like, oh, I'll put this on the charger, a whole bunch of stuff on a charger, and then it's ready again. Not every day, but every few days. All right, and it all works. All right, we'll be back. Bye.